Well, after a long string of rumors and then a small hiatus from rumors, it turns out Drew Hildebrandt is officially going to be a Nittany Lion. It goes without saying that this is a massive move for Penn State and Hildebrandt. This adds some major points that Penn State was definitely not expecting to get. They went from a possible half a point to no point scorer to an All-American level scorer. But before I jump into that, let's discuss how this move happened and the All-American career of Drew Hildebrandt. Right before that, of course, what's going on everyone? My name is Tanner and this is True Tan Wrestling. I make duel and tournament recaps, lineup breakdowns, and breaking news stories like this video. I also make exclusive content like podcasts and articles on Patreon, so you can check that out in this video's description. If you have any of your own thoughts, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Of course, if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you end up loving this video, also hit that subscribe button. Now, let's talk some Drew Hildebrandt and his move to Central Pennsylvania. Hildebrandt was a stud from Indiana, winning his state title his senior year and being a 4-time state placer. Indiana is a relatively tough state for high school wrestling, with guys like Chad Red and Nick Lee and family coming from Indiana. So Hildebrandt's state accomplishments were very impressive to say the least. He also placed several times at NHSCA's, which is a great tournament for college recruiting. And finally, he placed at Fargo, so his freestyle talents are not limited either. Drew Hildebrandt decided to continue his career at the State North and wrestle for the Central Michigan Chippewas. This was a major recruit for the MAC team, and he did not disappoint. His redshirt year was a nice long start to his career. He wrestled in so many local opens and wrestled several matches, which is good to see from a coaching perspective. He beat some good guys and took his lumps, of course, but a very promising year. His second year as a redshirt freshman was alright. He finished 500 with an 18-18 record. This might not sound too promising, but this was his first time in a starting lineup, so it takes some time for some guys to adjust to this environment shift. He beat some top tier guys like Fair at Kent State, and mostly his losses this year were to top tier opponents like McGee back when he was at Old Dominion. Ultimately, he did not automatically qualify with a spot at Max, so he did not qualify his first eligible year. However, his first year in the lineup was clearly a great development year, and his offseason improvements kept getting better and better the next 2 years. He would become a 2-time national qualifier in these 2 years. In 2019, he ended up finishing 1-2 at nationals, losing to Bresser of Oregon State and Mackel of Iowa State, who are both very good opponents. His junior year was a peak moment in his career. He became a MAC champ for the first time, beating Missouri starter and Killian Carnell back when he was at Old Dominion. He was placed into that NCAA bracket as the 6th seed, but as we all know, that tournament unfortunately never happened. Drew Hildebrandt is known for his leg top game, and it clearly got better as the years went on, and his improvements were at an all-time high and best his senior season at Central Michigan. He was once again a MAC champ and entered the NCAA field undefeated and as the 4 seed. He would wrestle to his seed, placing 4th and becoming an All-American, losing only to the champ Spencer Lee of Iowa and wrestleback hero McKee of Minnesota. He looked very impressive this tournament and at Max, of course, beating Teskey of Northern Iowa in the quarterfinals and Sam Latona in the Conti semis. This was supposed to be Drew's last year, and he even announced it on social media that this would be his last year of wrestling. However, on Halloween, he entered the transfer portal. At the time, there was a few high-profile teams that really needed a 125, but the only schools I heard about in the conversation for Drew Hildebrandt were Michigan and Penn State. And then, of course, there was also Nick Suriano floating around in the portal. So basically, there were 2 high-profile 125s looking for a new home. It is fitting that one went to the previous mentioned Michigan, aka Suriano went there, and of course the other went to the mentioned Penn State, and that would be Drew Hildebrandt. Penn State is known to develop their guys, so I'm curious to see how they're going to change and improve his style to get back to the All-American stand. I know top-tier guys like Aruja Cornell, Suriano of now at Michigan, and Gloria Princeton were not in the field last year, but this guy still placed top 4 in a tough 125 bracket, so he clearly has the skills to All-American again and to beat elite wrestlers. I'm curious how long he has been training with the Nittany Lions and if he will be ready to go for their next duel. He will for sure get high-level opponents, especially in the Big Tens. It goes without saying that the Big Ten is just a little tougher than MAC, not to discredit the MAC or anything, but the Big Ten is just a very tough conference. But Hildebrandt, as mentioned, is no slouch. I talked about this earlier, but Penn State needed these points to separate themselves. Of course, they have to go and perform, but if there's one thing I'll say, it always seems like Cael has his guys ready for the big show in March. I mean, 2 of the 4 champs lost in the Big Ten finals. Hildebrandt will be entering a much tougher field at NCAAs, and I think that goes without saying, but he will for sure be productive for Penn State. His first possible match will be against Maryland January 7th and Indiana January 9th, which should be some nice starting matches to see where he is at. Overall, I'm sure Penn State fans are beyond excited for this massive pickup. The team race between Iowa, Michigan, and Penn State seems to heat up every week with new news dumps, and I am beyond excited to see this play out throughout the second half of the season. Overall, I'm happy Drew Hildebrandt decided to come back to college wrestling and wrestle his final year at Penn State. I hope he finds Penn State as a new home, and I wish the best for the Central Michigan transfer, Drew Hildebrandt. This was a short little news dump and mini college retrospective for all of you, so I hope you really enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit that like button, and if you loved it, hit that subscribe button. If you have your own thoughts on the matter, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd really love to hear what you have to say. Now, with all that said, I wish you all a great day, and I will see you in the next one.